Well, well, well. I was supposed to be out backpacking. Had a great trip plan and everything, but once we saw the weather report, started to fall apart. So, instead, I'm going to have some kind of like hiker related, backpacker related, and bushwhacker related content. So today, I have brought to the table, I'm going to show off a few things here that they're just a little big. I like to pick things up in the wilderness when I'm out, and look at the shape of this manzanita branch. Isn't that bizarre? Now, it had a few small branches coming off of it, but the main wood, sometime when it's like a rainy day and I have a lot of time and I have some power tools, I'm gonna like grind off those pieces there and make it nice and smooth, just to show like a cleaned up version of nature's art. So, and then this right here is Ceanothus. Now we'll get on. I like to pick up certain kinds of woods and things along the way. Now this here is my grand museum. I actually have hopes one day of actually putting together somewhat of a museum of of finds along the way. So these are all notable, and I'll tell you a little story, just a tiny bit of each. Found this stag horn. I mean, it's really heavy it's like fresh. What I think happened was it was like rutting season and it just fell off. But I don't know. My buddy thinks that maybe the deer was injured or something like that. So anyway, now these are in like no order here at all. They're gonna jump around in time. So here we go. So this right here is very recent. Sorry, I'm looking at the screen and I'm like trying to figure out where my hand is. Really, I should be just holding this up and looking at my hand. So see this piece of glass here? Now, I mean, why would somebody collect a piece of glass? Well, I'll tell you, it's where it's found that's important. This is the first relic on the Star Point Trail. Okay, so I knew that vehicles that travel up and down, I could tell, and there's proof. Okay, so that's pretty cool. And over here, okay, this little nail right here, I'll bring it up so you can see a little bit better. This little guy, notice it's a square nail, and it's like hand wrought. This is from the 1800s, and it is left over. That is a nail from Manuel Dutra's homestead. Okay. Now, if you don't know where that is, it's in Big Sur. Okay. Now, a buddy of mine and I, we went trying to search for any kind of clues of where his old cabin was, and we found the foundation stones. You could definitely tell that they were, because they were all lined up, and it was a small cabin. These pioneers, the way they lived. Anyway, so we dug up one of the foundation rocks, and there was two nails. One was looking like this, and because my buddy was doing it, he claimed that one. And so then I took this one here that's all deteriorated. So that's a little piece of history there. Now this guy right here is a piece of local history. It's from Alex Madonna's mining operations up in the Irish Hills. And then this is a very interesting nail, but I think they call it a tack on the U.S. on the, let's see here, what is it called? Coastal Geodetic Survey, which is a part of the department. Gosh, I'm drawing a blank on the name right now. But this comes from Saddle Peak. Now, the only reason why I brought this back is because my buddy and I built a trail. It took us 2 years to get up there. No, I'm not kidding. And we got up there. And now that we've gotten up there, other people have gotten up there. And I had left this directly on top, wedged inside of a little redwood pole that was left over from the 1930 surveying, and this was part of that survey. Now, because I had left it there, somebody had picked it up and moved it, and I felt very uncomfortable with that, and so I took this back. Now I'm going to bring that one back because I really think that it deserves to live up there. So anyway, but more on that later. We put up a box, registry box up there. Now these little seeds right here, these guys right here are really special. I want to plant them in the wild around here, and maybe now is a good time to do that. Although I had some on my windowsill or my balcony over here, and they have not sprouted yet, so I was just kind of testing to see. But these come from Red Rock Canyon preservation area or whatever. It's west of Las Vegas. It's beautiful. Now this right here is a cone, a cypress cone. And look, the seeds are coming out, so I can't lose them. I brought this home for a reason. This is Sargent Cypress. Go look that up. S-A-R-G-E-N-T, not S-E-A-R. S-A-R. It doesn't mean anything like military. It's something else. And they just happen to have a grove in Big Sur. It's like the only place like around that has them, so they're very unique, and I want to see if I can get one started. And this right here is a very unique tree, short tree, like how aspens are. In fact, when I saw it from afar, I thought, oh, that's an aspen tree. And this was found in a water-filled canyon in Red Rock, also Red Rock Canyon. And this right here is, I brought this back from around, I believe, the third road, which if you ever pay attention to my videos and stuff, that's the name that we give. There's a first road, the second road, and then the third road. And that one, I think, comes from the third road, which is pretty long, and actually it's very long. Then this right here is an old vacuum tube. This is from a really bygone era, man. Wow. This comes from possibly 1920, around there. It's for a radio, RCA radio. And oh, where did I get this? Near Beer Can Camp, along this old road. There's no access anymore, but along this road there was another cabin area, and it has just the chimney of the cabin remains and some some concrete steps off the side that was used to get up to the front door of the cabin. And then there's also a Model T. Yeah, no, yeah, it's in pieces, but it's there. And believe it or not, it's not even rusted through, man. They used a different kind of steel. We're going to talk about that some other time. All right, so I had to have that, and I found it in the ivy and stuff that was growing around on the ground, in the vines and stuff. So there's also a bottle collection over there. Somehow they were all like put in one unique place, and I've been through that and looked, and I'm like, I want to take, but I'm like, no, that's not right. This, on the other hand, was discarded, and I feel like it was trash, so I take that. This here was definitely lost. Look at that, reward if found. And it's got a number on it and everything. It's got some like mercury batteries, 4.2 volt mercury batteries, and as you can see, it is toast. I have no idea what this is. Except that it's probably some kind of a pager of some kind, like some radio kind of device. So anyway, found that in Waterfall Canyon. If you pay attention to my videos, you'll know where that comes from. You'll know what Waterfall Canyon is. I can't describe because this is stuff that my buddy and we have forayed, and it's completely off the beaten track. Now this right here is very interesting. Have you ever been through a forest where there was tagged trees? So there was a place where they were tagging trees. It's very sad. We bushwhacked to Devil's Ridge, and we got up there, and we wanted to bushwhack again. And the next time we went up there, we saw that they had somebody, not sure who, had put in a fire break on the entire ridge line. Just destroyed my heart because it was so beautiful and so wild. And there was another surveyor place. In fact, oh my God, this is why I take some of this stuff home now. I'm going to tell you a little story. So there was a survey. There was like redwood posts and stuff. We found this. We were the only ones there since 1960, I think it was 1960. Okay, and I found remnants of the original surveying, and so I was like, man, I want to take this home. And I'm like, no, that's stealing. We come back, guess what? All evidence of previous surveys completely wiped out, razed to the ground. They even, they shredded everything. And then they shredded this tree too. So I said, you know what? I'm taking this home as a memory for that tree, that oak tree, who was supposed to be saved, and I'll just remember him. And then right here is a spoon, obviously, and found this in Dove Meadow, which I'm thinking now, my best friend was right, it's really owls, not doves. So we might change the name to Owl Meadow. This barbed wire, you may wonder, why would I take some barbed wire home? Well, it's where it comes from. And this came from Beer Can Camp up on the high part of the property where there's actually a road. And this was an area that I'm pretty sure that the original owner, Schlappbach, that he put it in, because it's it's clearly from the late 1800s and early 1900s. It's not any I mean, this kind of this is really really old. In fact, if I just twist it, it'll break. That's how I didn't have to cut this. I just bent it and it broke. Now, this is from Dove or Owl Meadow again. Leftover from, it was Owl Meadow, from what I can tell, used to be cattle ranched. And this is from, at latest, from the 70s. Because they stopped making these kinds of cans when I was a kid. I remember it was somewhere around the time that Jimmy Carter was getting elected. Okay, and then we got some like rocks here. I'll explain these. This right here, look at this. This is a hunk of, well, what will be amber in about 1 million years. It was so huge, I just said, you know what, I gotta take it. And maybe someday I might break off a piece and put it on an incense burner and see what kind of nice odor I get. It's from pine. And here's another one, but it's much smaller. This one's kind of pretty, actually. Then quartz. Okay, but this is not just any old quartz. This is a heart-shaped quartz. And I got that in Big Sur. These I got on Ocean Ridge, which if you watch my videos, you'll know. And then this right here is one giant, super heavy and slick greenstone. And it actually could be that some of it is just greenstone and some of it might be actual jade, like right there. Anyway, it is heavy. And it took me, it really weighed my pack down. Let me tell you, this thing is like, it is super heavy. It's like at least 5 pounds. At least. All right, now on to the, we're gonna finish this really soon here. This here is leftover from a ranch that is now for forest property, and there's no like public trail to get there. I had bushwhack to get there, and I saw that there was a fence, and so I went up, and this was actually resting on one of the fence rails. So, hello. All right. And this is one of the best. This right here is from 1934, I think is what it is. I tracked it down with these, with looking at the markings. And this is an old whiskey bottle from the 1930s. And this was found while we were building the trail to Saddle Peak. Isn't that cool? So one of those surveyors tossed the bottle thinking, you know, nobody would ever find it, and then I found it. All right, now this is, oh, this was from Waterfall Canyon. Yeah, the first time we got down there. Now, the Waterfall Canyon, just so you know, is actually public property. It really is. It's public property there. It's just that there's no trails to get there. You have to really bushwhack. So anyway, I didn't feel very bad for taking this because it's public property, so this doesn't apply anymore. It's totally washed out. You couldn't even tell what it was saying, you know, out there in the sun and stuff. But anyway, yeah, that's cool. So I picked this up where we first camped, and that was before we found Dove or Owl Meadow. The Owl Meadow is connected to Waterfall Canyon. Waterfall Canyon runs into the meadow, and then from Waterfall Canyon, there's Wire Spool Canyon, which is this. This is one of the bolts that holds a wire spool together from, well over 100 years ago. I did some research. There was, you could tell on an old topo map that there was a marking of a cabin down at the bottom where Wire Spool Canyon and Waterfall Canyon Y into. There's two canyons that Y together and then turn into Waterfall Canyon. This is one canyon. And where they connect, it's really cool. There's like mushrooms that grow there and stuff. We like to go there during the rainy time of the year and go collect mushrooms. But anyway, yeah, right where that comes together, that's where that cabin was. So this has to come from that time, because I'm telling you, prior to us going there, I don't think that the only thing that must have been going through there before was bears. And we found bear scat, obviously. And then right here, this bottle here comes from the Carrizo Plain. I did some tracking to find out that this was a design that was very popular in the 1920s. So I'm not really sure if that's from the 1920s, but I found some examples. So anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. I found that just like open range walking, which is really cool. If you don't know what the Carrizo Plain is, it's like California's Serengeti. That's what a lot of people call it. This right here was picked up at Saddle Peak. Somebody had left this before we had arrived, like maybe 20 years ago. But they didn't come up the way we did because we had to build a trail to get there. They must have taken some like utility roads for miles and miles to get to a different vantage point, and then to go up just one not easy, but one ridge to get up there, like a short bushwhack. That's what we think, but I couldn't tell. But I couldn't get the lid off. I wanted to, because there was like some writing inside there. Anyway, I pulled it apart, but you couldn't read it anymore. It was totally bleached by the sun. But I thought I would just keep that. I didn't want to just throw away the container, so this is a nice way to keep a memory of that. And then this right here was found near the trailhead on Baldwin Ranch Road in Big Sur, and it's obviously much older than me. Oh boy, there's some things falling off of it right now, like rust or something. But it's not exactly. I mean, it's trash if you look at it as can I use it? Well, no, it's trash. But, it's pretty cool. These things, I found all these things out there, and I just think they're pretty cool. So, I don't know. You tell me. I hope this was not too long of a video. Thanks for sticking it out with me.